The Torah is holy and divine, but it's also unbelievably relevant and timely. And there's a great example in this week's Parshat Vayelech. Again, we're in the book of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, the fifth of the 5 books of the Torah, and we're nearing the end because we're about to start over. But right now, we're in the last few weeks of Moses' life. Moses is not going to go with the Jewish people into the land of Israel, and he's sending off the Jewish people with this last bit of encouragement. Throughout the entire Torah, we've been accumulating 613 mitzvot. And here is the 613th mitzvah, which is to write a Torah. And we extrapolate that because what it says here is write down this poem, shirah, this poem or song. It's not talking about the Torah as a whole. It's talking about the next parsha, which is called Ha'azinu. And you're not allowed to do that. You can't just write one parsha. So we extrapolate the mitzvah to be, you actually have to write an entire Torah. But if you sponsor a Torah or if you hold your hand over a sofer, the person who's trained specifically to write Torahs, that you've accomplished this mitzvah. But the part that is so moving to me, write down this poem and teach it to the people of Israel. Put it in their mouths. And that sounds familiar because it's something that we talked about in last week's Parsha, Nitzavim. Last week we read, Torah is not in the heavens, so that you can say, will someone go up to heaven and get the Torah and explain it to us? It is not across the sea, so maybe someone will go across the sea and get it for us and explain it to us. No, this thing is very close to you, in your mouth. So there's this constant idea that the Torah is accessible to anyone who wants to learn it. And a great example is another mitzvah in this parsha, which is the mitzvah of Hakel, which happens the year after Shemitah. Shemitah is where we rest the land in the 7th year. In the year after Shemitah, when people are back to farming their lands, when they're maybe not as spiritual as they were during the rest year where they didn't have their lands to farm, they get to hear the Torah again. And it's not just the learned people. It's men, women, children, strangers in your community so that they may learn about Torah. And then children too, who have not had the experience of life or whatever, they should also join. And it's beautiful because we talk about the people of Israel, we call them Bnei Israel, the children of Israel. But we're also talking about the literal children of Israel, the young people who have not learned Torah yet. That we really put the responsibility on the community and on parents to teach children for them. And it's not just for the learned people, it's for children and strangers and anyone amongst your community, that everyone should have the honor. It may sound like I'm repeating myself, this constant idea of the Torah is accessible and everyone has the right to learn Torah. But that's really a lot of the themes in this final book of the Torah, which again is this week's long speech of Moshe being like, okay, you're about to go be on your own. Let's see how you do. If this is the wrap up, if this is the Cliff's Notes of the rest of the Torah, then I think it's pretty meaningful. Shabbat Shalom. Just remember that the Torah is in your mouth and in your heart and in your soul, and it's accessible to all.